My name is Troopermax. I'm a filmmaker, YouTuber, husband, and father. I specialize in documenting people's classic car stories by capturing their rides, sharing their unique history,
July 1981, I was 16 years old, so I bought the car.
and celebrating achievements.
I was literally in the garage anywhere from 6 to 12 hours.
It's my job to decode the emotional connections related to these automotive time capsules.
My mom bought this brand new. Dad maintained it, sat in our side lot. We kept it around until I restored it.
The challenge, of course, bringing these stories to life in an accurate, creative,
I smile every time I see the shipmobile, man. It's a character all on its own.
and entertaining matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't get caught by the cops.
But it's by capturing these stories that enables us to preserve automotive history, allowing them to live on for generations to come.
You know when you watch Street Outlaws? I did like these guys. Ran on the street. I went there, made noise, and went home.
But after doing all these stories, the one story I've neglected is my own. Because once upon a time, there was a young boy with a pretty promising career in motorsport. Picture this, being put behind the wheel at 6 years old.
You're 6 years old.
Enduring vigorous training and partaking in epic battles. These battles would result in countless disappointing defeats.
Come on, come on, come on!
But in turn, ignite a warrior spirit deep within, thus paving a road etched in gold. But with great success comes great responsibility and even greater danger. Now, after nearly 3 decades of being buried deep within the dark recesses of my mind, it's time to unearth this subject. I'm embarking on my own trip back in time. I have so many questions. Why did it end? What made those times so special and significant? Whatever happened to that 6-year-old boy with dreams of being the next world champion? I'm about to dive deep into the waters of mystery. Little do I know, I'm embarking on a journey that will have me asking more questions, as it's about to grow much larger than I ever anticipated.
Nervous?
It was crazy.
But navigating these waters won't be done alone, as I'm quickly about to be reunited with influential figures from the past. Local legends that would leave inspirational marks of history. Fellow adrenaline junkies that embodied the spirit of competition. And even fellow racers that shared very similar trajectories. It's a story about sacrifice, hard work, legacy, friendship, and family. This isn't just my story anymore, it's much more than that. So if we're going to be exploring this story, I think it's worth mentioning just how we got here. Because just based on our history, makes the odds of this ever happening in the first place even more unlikely and unique. My parents were Polish immigrants who escaped communism by immigrating to what would become my birthplace, Greece. Despite living in seemingly Shangri-La, a lack of opportunities and dreams of a brighter future would make the Mediterranean lifestyle short-lived. Mark and Eva would soon immigrate to our final resting place, Canada. Immigrating to Canada would ensure safety for their family with the absence of war and would facilitate new opportunities on the horizon. Life was filled with simple pleasures that didn't require substantial sums of money. Humble beginnings made for good times. Soon the family would once more grow with the birth of their second son, David. Now with all the elements in place, made it possible to start laying a foundation for success. So my childhood was really unique. Growing up with European parents, you didn't have the typical influences from a normal Canadian family. You know, we didn't watch hockey, baseball, anything like that. For me, it was all about cars. My earliest memories all contained cars. I was always putting on these elaborate races. I would have these big collections. There was really nothing else that I was interested in. This was my only interest. I was absolutely obsessed with these things. I truly believe I was born this way. I didn't have any other interest. All I wanted to do was play with cars. Ever since I was a little kid, all I can remember is just playing with trucks, racing cars, things like that. My favorite show was Dukes of Hazzard. I actually remember accidentally taping over some home videos, but that's how much I liked this stuff. I had this massive elaborate collection of VHS tapes. Cars were a big part of my life. There was no shortage of them around. They were all over the place. There was always unique vehicles in my property. But what really elevated my interest was my dad. I was really fortunate not just to have a dad, but to have him around when I was growing up as a kid. As a kid, growing up, Dad was my hero. He was extremely intelligent. He could do anything. He could fix anything. He can get into a car and drive like he's driven it all his life. He was very talented. But out of everything he could do, the best thing he did was spend a lot of time with us. Dad was my idol. He was never into classic cars or hot rods, nothing like that. For him, it was all motorsport. I remember spending countless hours watching Formula One, watching guys like Michael Schumacher, David Coulthard, Jacques Villeneuve. Hell, I could still hear the sound of that V10 engine, Michael Schumacher just flying around those corners. This is a sound that I just don't think I'll ever get out of my head. In the early 90s, he got into karting. There was a local go-karting club, NCKC, and they hosted races on Ontario and Quebec. They would host races with 4-stroke engines and 2-strokes as well. So my dad built a couple go-karts and he joined, but he didn't join alone. He brought me along for the ride.
Just 6 years old.
I was only 6 years old. Dad actually had to lie about my age to get me in because I was just too young.
Okay, who's got the guts to go out there and stomp them now? All right then.
Keep in mind, this is the 90s. You can get away with that kind of stuff. These days, that would never happen. But back then, things like this were much more common. Now, this interest quickly developed into a lifestyle. We'd always be traveling. Every weekend there would be a race. All summer would be busy. It was a high adrenaline lifestyle. There'd be lots of competitors. This was a huge event. And this really took over my life, and this was the primary focus of my life.
Bravo.
Time passed, and as I grew, my brother got involved too. This was a family event. This wasn't just some sort of interest. This pretty much took over our lifestyle, and this was a huge part of what our family was about back in the 90s. These races really brought us together, and these are some great memories that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. My dad was always very driven, So not only did he build his own go-kart, he built us our own go-karts, he'd take us to these races, and he always wanted the best for us. He was so committed to his dream that he bought his very own property and built his own racetrack. Like, how crazy is that? He bought a big 40-acre property and he started building a racetrack. Every weekend we'd be there. He'd be there with his friends, he'd be using heavy machinery, they'd be digging dirt, they would be loading dump trucks, they'd be doing all this with no experience, all these decrepit machines from the 30s and the 60s. It's just such a unique experience. How do you make that kind of thing up? You know, if these pictures weren't around, sometimes I wouldn't even believe this happened. It's incredible that he did this just for the sake of this dream. So obviously he was very passionate about it. This was very special to him. We continued racing, and this lasted the better part of the 90s. The races got huge, the place was packed, there was people everywhere. There were so many competitors, this became a really massive thing. And I just looked at my dad and I said, wow, that's amazing that somebody was able to do this, to create this massive event just because of a dream he had. He was truly a pioneer for go-karting in our area. He really created something out of nothing. And what an amazing story. Somebody had immigrated just 5 years before then from another country, not even knowing how to speak the language. That's just an amazing thing. I look at that and I say to myself, wow, that's somebody I can look up to. The races continued. We'd eat, sleep, and breathe motorsport every single weekend. These were events. These were huge. We'd be working on the events, we'd be racing other places, we'd be traveling, we'd be building go-karts. It was crazy, but it was a great time. You know, this is very personal to me because I think my dad made it his mission for me to be the best I could be, and he gave me everything I needed for that to happen. 97 rolled around and we really turned up the intensity. He got me a new go-kart, a custom sprayed helmet, and I had everything I needed, all the tools I needed to do a good job. And in 1997, all that paid off when I won the championship. The same year that Jacques Villeneuve won the Formula One championship, my idol race car driver, I won the championship as well. Everything my dad had done over the years had paid off. Everything my family had done, all the hard work, my mom, my grandma, my brother, everybody contributed. This was a huge undertaking and a massive success. That was my life, racing. Much time has passed, nearly 3 decades, since I decided to lay my racing lifestyle to rest. These days, life couldn't be any more different. Surprise, surprise, I'm not a kid anymore. In fact, I've got 2 of my own. I'm a father, a husband, and like everybody else, working to support my family.
Be racist and suffer.
The only racing I do these days is around the house with my 2 little boys. Life is good. I'm thankful for everything I have. I don't take things for granted, and I try to cherish every moment I'm given on this earth. But most importantly, I'm happy. So why embark on this journey? Why explore something that's been buried for so long? Honestly, I can't really explain it, other than a growing internal desire that's completely inexplicable. Along with some cues the universe has left for me. You know, sometimes in life, I don't think you need to have all the answers. You just need to follow the clues you're given to figure out the mysteries it has left for you. For me, that's all I need, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. There it is, the old helmet. You could still see the battle scars on it. You know, it's kind of sad this still fits my head. I was like 10 years old when I wore this last. Wow. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh yeah. So I never wore this, but my dad did. This is his early suit from back in the day when I was just starting out, really in the early days. Wow. And inside, you could see the blue suit that he wore later on. Now, I never got to wear these suits because I was just a kid. I was 10 years old. I was like half the height. But it's really cool that we've held on to these suits all these years later. But there's more stuff in here. There's a whole box of stuff. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. You know, since I was a young kid, I was always obsessed with cars. You know, back then it was everything motorsport. You know, rally, F1, IndyCar racing, monster trucks, NASCAR. I watched it all. You know, whether it was Dale Earnhardt, you know, Michael Schumacher, Paul Tracy. It was the golden years of racing as well. It just brings me back to all those times, you know. All those legends in racing. It doesn't matter what the racing was. You know, I was into it, you know. I even kept, check this out. I even kept this. This is probably one of the coolest things. This is the news paper from when Jacques Villeneuve won the championship, the Formula One championship in 1997. Oh, there it is. No freaking way. We still have the suit. I didn't realize that we still had this here. This is pretty cool. Now, there's no way in hell I'm fitting that anymore. Look at that. Looking at the stuff, it just really brings it back to the 90s, you know, just being a kid again. It just seemed like such innocent times. Life was just about racing, you know? I didn't have any worries in the world, no bills, nothing. It just seems like the greatest decade in the world. Like, those times were so legendary. You know, they were so innocent, and they had the cheesy clothing, and people had fanny packs, and it was hilarious. People had crazy hairstyles, you know, wild rides. It seemed like nobody cared about anything. There was no internet. No one had to be worried about being judged. It was just the greatest times. And I think that's something that just isn't around these days, which is what makes that era so special. At least in my mind it does. So those are some amazing times, and then after that, it was all over. I wasn't always winning races. Earlier on when I was a novice, there was only a couple of us, so it didn't really matter. It was just really casual racing. You know, you won first, you won second, you won third, it didn't really matter. It wasn't until the next year in '95 I was put into the next class, which is junior heavy. Now this class is huge, and I was racing with people that were double my size and double my age. Here I am as a 7-year-old racing with 15 and 16-year-olds. So I was always at the back of the pack. I wasn't winning anything. I was just losing every race. I did that for 2 years, you know, defeat after defeat after defeat.
Come on, come on, come on!
So it wasn't until 97 they created a new weight class they called the cadet class. And cadet basically gave all the people in between novice and junior heavy a chance at competition. So we were put in this class, and that's when I started winning. I got the new go-kart, and when I just started winning, that's where I was just firing on all cylinders. All of a sudden the heat was turned up, and it was just victory after victory after victory. Bam, bam, bam. Winning every race. It was crazy. All of a sudden everybody was gunning for me, the guy that used to be at the back of the pack. In 97, ended up winning the championship. And this went on for 2 years, and I ended up winning in 97, and in 98 things went crazy. I remember the competition was nuts. It got so competitive, people were all gunning for me. And I actually remember the parents really getting competitive too. So people were mad about me winning, so they were trying to find every little thing for me to lose. So I remember I was actually disqualified because my go-kart was a bit shorter, so people were trying to find little technicalities. And despite that, I still end up winning the championship. You know, when you're the son of the guy who built the track and you're winning all the races, people are gonna find ways to take you down. And that's exactly what happened. You know, I remember it like it was yesterday. So I was going down the track, down the straightaway, heading for the hairpin. You know, I'd taken that hairpin a million times before. You know, I start turning, and as I look to my side, I see someone coming at me, and bam, right into my side. So he went into me, boom, I went over, and I went into the grass, upside down, flipped over, and I'm done. You know, I remember my mom walked me back to the house, and my dad was walking behind us, and he's just like, it's over, that's it, we're done, we're not doing any more of this. And that was the end of my racing career, like that. You know, it's hard to believe that that ended the career, but there was so much competition, there was so much more going on behind the scenes, and as a kid, I didn't even really know. I understand why my dad had to end it. I absolutely feel like there's a part of me that was taken away when this ended, and there's almost like a void, and I have to explore that and figure out what the meaning behind all this is, because I'm not really quite sure. Like, I know this is my story, I know this is my stuff that I used to race, but I just can't put myself back. This was all my life, and then all of a sudden it wasn't my life at all, and I haven't thought about it for so long that it's hard to believe that I used to wear this thing and go racing and win championships. That doesn't feel like me at all. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this journey, is because this is a self-exploration, self-discovery journey. I know why my career ended, but I don't really know exactly why my whole passion for racing ended, because after this I got completely out of everything, cars and everything. There was no more car magazines, no more books, it all just ended. So it almost feels like amnesia. It feels like a part of me has been erased, and I have to rediscover that. And there have been things happening lately that have been bringing memories back to me. The fact is, I actually got contacted out of nowhere by 2 different people in the last year. So why now? I haven't heard from anybody in this in over 20 years, and all of a sudden it's all happening at once. If I can get myself back in the mindset, you know, as a 9, 10-year-old kid racing and all this, there must be a reason why this is happening. This isn't random. I'm following the clues. There's a reason I have to do this. I just don't know why. And that's what I'm gonna do. I think the only way I could do that is to go back to where it all started. But right now I can't do it. It's winter outside. You got snow. So we're just gonna wait for winter to be over, and we're gonna start exploring this. Spring is here. I'm just finishing up some awards I plan to give out at a drag racing event that's coming up in a couple weeks. I end up spending the winter actually working on this thing. This is a 1972 Nova. This is my dream muscle car. But now that the nice weather is here, it's time to take a break on this. It's time to get outside and continue our quest. But before we do that, I got something really important I have to do. Thanks for the advice. So somebody I really bonded with over the years is my father-in-law, Gilles. So my wife's dad, he's a great guy. We have mutual interest of muscle cars, and this has really brought us together. He's always been very supportive of my projects, and we've always had a really good relationship. Well, someone that was a big influence on him was his father, Raymond. Now, unfortunately, this past winter, Raymond passed away. And he was also a car guy. He had a big influence on Gilles. So him passing away, it's just really sad and unfortunate. And I wanted to give him kind of like a tribute. And I just thought of what's the best way to send off somebody so important? Well, something I've never done in my life is a burnout. I've never done a burnout. I think it'd be a really cool way, give him a tribute, do my first one ever, and just give him that send off he deserves so well because he was such a special person. I'm gonna grab my Bronco and I'm gonna see what happens. This one's for you, Ray.
Just 6 years old.
Nothing has changed. It looks exactly the same as it did way back when. So this is where it all started. This is where my racing career started. This is where I started to learn how to drive a go-kart and practice, and my dad would bring him here all the time. We'd be here pretty much every weekend, just practicing, getting better. So, you know, it's funny looking back now, thinking I was 6 years old in a go-kart, ripping around here with all the potential dangers. You know, that's just something that can happen these days. There's no way in hell, you know? If I brought my 6-year-old son here, then immediately the first thing that would happen was the cops would show up and I'd get arrested. You know, it's been 30 years since I came here. 30 years, exactly. The funny part is, being here right now, there is a bit of familiarity. Like, I'm looking at this turn right now that I'm about to go through, and I remember, like, there's a weird, almost like a muscle memory type thing, you know what I mean? Like, I did this turn so many times. That's pretty cool. That's a good starting point, you know? No big revelations here, but definitely some familiarity, that's for sure. But the thing is, it's still not getting me really in that mindset of when I was racing and whatnot. So what I think I have to do is I have to go where I spent the most amount of time during that point in my life, and that's where I grew up. That's where I gotta go next. this is it. This is where I grew up, right in that apartment over there. Absolutely nothing's changed since I've been here last. It looks exactly the same growing up. I know we would end up living here for 11 years. 5 people and 1 dog in that little 2-bedroom apartment. You know, this was just such a great place growing up. We spent endless hours going up and down that ramp. My brother and I, we'd spend lots of hours out here just in the summer on our bike, playing with the water. We'd always be outside. It was just such a great time. What a wonderful place to grow up. You know, coming back here definitely does bring back some memories. It's hard to believe, you know, being, 6 years old and starting the racing career and living here, and my mindset was, just playing. So it's pretty wild to think of the go-karting thing being so important. And at the same time, I was just a kid. So looking back now, this is pretty cool. And you know what's ironic? I lived here for 11 years. And just across, on the other side, my future wife lived there for 3 years. So she grew up here at the same time I did. I didn't even know she lived there. Funny thing is, my father-in-law had a Charger, a 72 Charger. And when I first met them, he showed me a picture of it. And I'm like, man, it brings back some memories. I didn't know why. Turns out, he lived right in front of me for 3 years. I remember seeing that thing. Now, after I connected all the dots, I realized that I had seen that Charger for many years. So, the world's a small place. It's pretty cool. Definitely brings back some memories, but not of go-karting. You know what this place makes me feel? It makes me feel thankful. That my parents came here, left their country, started a new life so we could have better lives, my brother and I. So maybe this place doesn't really bring back any memories of go-karting, but it sure as hell makes me thankful for what I have in life and the sacrifices my parents took. So what I think I have to do is bring myself to places I used to race. Maybe that will get me in the mindset I need to be. All right, so this is the aquatic center. It's pretty cool. Changed a little bit. They've definitely modified this place. They've added an addition to it. But this is where I was, right where I'm standing right now. It just doesn't look exactly the same as it did before.
Followed by the number 13 car, Kelly Mark Michaud.
Right over here is where my dad would have been standing, and I would have come in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So we would have come along this straightaway here, hit this turret, and just go flying off into the distance.
Coming across to take the checkered flag is Kelly Mark Michaud of Williamstown, Ontario.
That's where I would run up and get my award. Unfortunately, this doesn't really bring me back. I think what I gotta do is go to the tracks that I raced, where I went many times, because I only raced here a handful of times. Now, there are 3 primary tracks we raced at. First, there was Quéon in Quebec. That's the one we raced at the most. Now, unfortunately, that track is completely changed. It's still around, but they rebuilt it. I doubt there's gonna be any sort of, memories or or anything coming back to me. The second track was my dad's track, Krakow. Now, unfortunately, we sold that back in 2013, and since then, a shooting range bought it. I tried to contact the owners, and they had no interest in letting us on there. They said it was a security risk, whatever that means. They also said the track wasn't there. Whether that's true or not, I'm not really sure. I just wanted to walk the property, but unfortunately that can't happen, so can't do that. Now, the only track that's remaining that we could potentially go to is called Carter's Corner in Stittsville. Now, this was a track that we raced from 94 till 98, and that one had rentals, so it was a track specifically for that. And last I saw it around the COVID time, it actually shut down. And last I saw it, it was overgrowing and stuff. I thought it'd be demolished. A couple weeks ago, I drove by there, and I saw people working with excavators and stuff, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. I'm gonna go take a look. If there's anyone there, let's go see if we can talk to somebody and figure out what we can do with this, because I'd love to check out that track. It's the only track that's remaining. Let's go take a look. Oh man, Carter's Corners, wow, it's still here. It was shut down for a while, but now it's actually gonna be open again, which is really cool because, I don't know, it's kind of a shame to have this closed down. So I'm really excited that somebody's actually, you know, opening this again and bring karting back to the area. It's, walking on this totally brings back memories. This is familiar territory for me now. You know, going to all those other places, I wasn't able to feel like I did back as a kid, but this really brings it back. I remember this. This is crazy. I think some point later, we're gonna come back here and have to do some real go-karting here, but not right now. Still have a couple things we gotta do. Congratulate you very much for all the hard work.
Yeah, so just pump it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so you just
hold her down.
Yeah.
With the button.
Yeah.
Put it in low.
Yeah.
And then hold the button. You let go of the pedal.
Oh, yeah.
It locks the 2 front wheels. Yeah. Hey, we know a transmission guy.
Yeah.
We know engine builders.
Better? Okay, there we go, perfect. Alrighty, let's give it a shot.
Okay, everything's live.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright.
Good luck.
Who's coming with me? Is anyone coming with me or is it just me?
You, yourself, and I. No.
Okay.
Me, myself, and I. Whatever the phrase.
Is it just me? Are you coming with me?
No.
No?
You're going by yourself.
Oh my god, okay. Well, now I'm nervous. I guess I'm going myself.
I'm nervous and I've been doing this for 50 years.
Woo! Okay.
Longer, 60 years.
Mad Max.
Hit the gas.
Okay, ready? It was definitely more fun than nerve-wracking, I would say. I was worried at first, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I liked it. It was awesome. Man, I can see how you get addicted to that. Yeah.
It was racing.
Oh, he's like, that was racing. Oh. So that was super cool to be able to go drag racing for the first time and being able to put that helmet on for the first time since the 90s in a competitive setting was really cool. It might have been the slowest run of all time recorded that track, but man, that was so cool. My friend Ross was hell-bent on me going down the track and trying it out. And that's what we did, and wow, that was a really cool moment. With everything that's been happening this summer, a flame has been reignited. And it's just the universe's way of telling me, keep going, you're gonna find the answers you're looking for. The next thing I gotta do is I gotta go to my folks' place. Hello, Mom.
Hello.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Isn't that how the saying goes? And when it comes to the subject of my family's living arrangements, nothing can be more accurate than this. My folks are still living together, along with my brother, and even my grandma's still around. Despite having numerous serious health issues and several near-death experiences, she survived all the odds, and we've been blessed with her presence. It's just so cute to see her playing with the kids at the age of 83, much like she did with us when we were kids back in the apartment. My mom's retired from work, and these days she spends all her time with her grandkids taking care of my sons full time. Now growing up, we didn't get to spend as much time with her due to the amount of time she was working and all the jobs she was doing just so we could survive. These are the realities of growing up as immigrants. You're gonna have to make sacrifices. So we spent most of our time with my grandmother. So it's really cool to see all these years later she gets to spend this time with her grandkids and get that time back that she might have missed with my brother and I. But despite how good things are, our family's not immune from bad times. When the go-karting thing ended, my dad ended up having a really hard time and has really struggled for the last 20 years. But ever since the birth of my kids, especially my son Daxon, things have really improved. He's an awesome grandfather. He takes care of them, he plays with them, much like he did with us. It's almost like seeing that guy way back in the early 90s all over again. You know, I haven't seen this side of my dad in over 20 years, and I really missed him. So it just means the world to me, knowing that the birth of my kids has facilitated this once again. And despite whatever bad things may have happened over the years, it doesn't matter. This is the most important thing to me. So we still get together every Sunday for supper, but today's a little bit of a special day because we've come to retrieve something that's been sitting for a long time.
When we have 4 coolers,
It's not
we
enough.
never go camping.
4 coolers.
That's a keeper right there. All right, you think I'll start?
These are still good, eh? Hard as a rock, eh? 25-year-old tires. Dance! Well, there's no oil seats, all silver, that's good. Did we ever race this go-kart? No, eh?
No.
Yeah, we raced it?
Once.
Once? Once, eh? That's it. How much do we need? Full.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hey. What's up, man? How you doing? Okay, we're about to start her up.
Does it spark?
We haven't tried yet. We're just mixed the gas now. I'm just gonna put some in. This thing hasn't been ran in 14 years. I'm not gonna pour it all in. That's broken. I'm definitely gonna have to change this line at some point. It's pretty old. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull it through. There's enough line I could save it here. There we go. We're good. jeez. Oh.
The ball's got to float.
Yeah.
The float doesn't work like this.
Good.
Work like
Has to
this,
be
right?
in the bottom.
Okay, so we have to flip this. Yeah, we'll try it. I'll fill it up with air and we'll push it. 2, 3. Yeah, you can. Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Rum rum, Dax, you love the drag races. Now let's try it one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Success! Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we did it. Something's dragging. Oh no. I'm sorry, Pat, that's going in the documentary. Man, now that was really cool. You know, starting this thing up and hearing that 2-stroke sound again, oh man, that just brought back memories. Super cool. I'm so happy right now. That was awesome. A really cool moment. Definitely gonna be doing something with this bad boy, but not yet. First thing I wanna do right now is I had a bunch of people contact me last year and I'm not really sure why. They're not really sure why. Everyone just happened. Everybody felt the need to contact me, so there must be a reason why the universe is wanting for us to meet. So let's go meet some people we haven't seen in a long time. Figure out what this is all about. So we're just on our way to go visit Chad. Chad and his family actually rented the track after we stopped the races in the early 2000s. Mind you, that was 20 years ago, so we haven't seen them in a long time. But very nice family, nice people, and they were kind of the last patrons in the bar, so to speak. So we're gonna go give Chad a visit, see what the times for him were like, and see what memories he's got to share with us, and we'll go from there. Chad, it's nice to see you, man, after all these years.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, Max.
20 plus years now?
At least, yeah.
Oh, man, this is so cool. Like, you know, doing this whole journey, I've been able to like look at my own story and all that stuff. And it's really cool for me, and it seems personal to me. However, I'm not the only one that did this. Like, you have a very similar story. Like, you started out not long after I did.
Yeah, I mean, my dad brought a go-kart home, probably, I don't know what year it was, maybe 96.
Yeah.
We started kind of 97, and you know, fond memories of going. My first race was, well, attempted race was to Quino, and we brought our old go-kart there, and it didn't meet the safety specs, so they didn't let us race the first time we ever tried.
What were the safety specs even back then? I feel like there was nothing. Like, they were just bare carts.
Yeah, I mean, the cart, it didn't have like the full Nerf bars, and just had like a little right by the rear tire, right?
Yeah.
So some of that, the bumper, front bumpers, rear bumpers, stuff like that, because our cart was really old that we redid.
Yeah.
And back then it was probably like an 80 something cart in 97, right? So
well, that makes sense. So when I started, it was 94, so we didn't have anything. I think the standards were a little lower then, and I think when we got into the mid 90s, like 96, 97, I remember we started having protection, some safety.
Yeah.
So I think that's when they started. So like, it makes sense when you started. But the cool thing is, you actually raced at my dad's track.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Some fond memories at Krakow in Shinny. Yeah, I mean, me and my dad went to your track and saw you and your brother playing in the sandbox, and we were just trying to get our feet wet with it, right? So trying to get some laps in, some seat time. I was pretty green and fresh. I would have been 9, I guess. So I mean, I can definitely remember going out on the track and then you ripping some laps, and I just wanted to be like you. You're way quicker than I was. But yeah, it was great memories there. Got my first win, I think, at your track. Yeah. And after lots of practice and doing some stuff with, after a race one, I think it was probably 2 years into my racing career, finally like trying to learn the line and just, holding it wide open and touching the brakes. Some of the tricks that it was hard to get from other guys. Yeah. And I remember one night or after the race, Mark Hitchcock, who's a famous dirt car racer in Brockville in Cornwall. He ended up, showing us the line or standing on the track and basically going corner to corner with me and showing me the line and saying, "Don't let off, and just keep it pinned." And,
exactly.
After that, it wasn't long before I got a win, right? So.
Well, and that's the thing. You actually ended up winning the championship, so you weren't just another racer. Like you basically did kind of the same thing I had happen, but you did it your own way. You won the championship. Yeah. So, and you ended up racing way longer than I did. Like you had a racing career. You were talking like 16 years, but it was not just go-kart racing. So. Yeah. So we did probably 8 years in go-karts and then moved on to legend cars. Our first year of legend cars, we ran out of town in Peterborough and ran the series in Southern Ontario. Nice. And then they brought them to Ottawa and we ran some series there and won the championship there in 2010, I think it was. So. Yeah. So like you obviously did the karting just like we did. Why did you guys get out of it?
I think maybe a couple things, right? So we were looking for the next step. We spent 8 years in karting, and obviously I wanted to do something different, move up the ladder in racing. Yeah. Doing it that long too, and being successful plays a hindrance to yourself, right? If you're successful, you kind of got a target on your back sometimes.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Right.
So for you guys, it was more of an evolution rather than just like quitting because you kept racing. Yeah. But for the go-karting itself, like what were the 90s like for you? What are those memories like?
I mean, this is bringing back a lot, but the 90s were great. Like, working on the kart with my dad, the races were won in the shop, right? So we spent a lot of time bonding with my dad, right? That's always been, will be a key memory of mine. Working on the karts, going to the track, the friendships made, the camaraderie, it was pretty good. The competition part of it, right? Just learning, getting better was like, it wasn't always, a goal, trying to better yourself every time you're on the track.
It's funny, I'm looking at the go-kart behind you here, and I see that 5.5 Honda. It just brings it back, and it says KDM Racing, which is Kelly Mark, who I raced back in Cornwall all those years ago. Oh man, I hadn't seen one of these in like 20 years. So cool.
Yeah, so I mean, like we got all rid of our go-kart stuff, and a good friend kind of had this sitting around, and his son was growing out of this one. And he's like, just take it, and put your kids in it and see if he likes it. Try to grow that next generation of racer.
So you actually have 3 kids. So are you looking to introduce them into the old world of go-karting?
Yeah, if they want to. Yeah. I'm not going to push them. We try not to push them, get them to do what they want to do. But there is a little bit of a push there. They're secretly saying, hey, come on, try it. Hopefully you like it and you're good at it, and let's see what you can do.
It's awesome to see all this stuff, and like I know your dad and my dad, we always got along really well. There was always a really good friendship there, so it's just nice to see you guys. And obviously you've moved on to the next level, which is building your own Corvette. Yeah. And this is pretty cool too.
Yeah, thanks. So this has been, again, my dad is an automotive machinist by trade, so he basically built this car for me, I'm not gonna lie. And we just went all out, probably too far, but it's cool.
Well, this is pretty cool, and you know what? I think we're gonna have to get together and I don't know, go to a track one day and see see what happens, because it's been a while. I think it would be cool to try that again.
Yeah, it'd be great to get behind the wheel of a kart again. It's been a long time.
You're down for that?
Absolutely.
All right, man. I think we're gonna have to figure this out. Yeah, it's good to see you.
All right, thanks, Max.
Yeah. Oh man, that was awesome. Not only was it cool to see Chad after several decades, but it was really cool to hear his story, his memories, and to see somebody that had a very similar story to mine, and reliving their memories and all the great times back in the day. So I'm not the only one, so it's pretty cool to see. The second part that was really neat was actually seeing the footage from the track from back in the day. Now, I had no idea that there was any existing footage of races from back in those days. So when I was talking to Chad, he told me he had this old VHS tape with 99 and Crackle on it. I just couldn't believe it. Getting this tape, you know, loading into the adapter, putting it into the VHS machine and turning it on, my God, I gotta tell you, the feelings going through me. I understand how the treasure finders feel when they find something really special and significant, because oh my God, that was really cool. So far this journey's pretty cool as far as I'm concerned. So yep, that was awesome. I think what we gotta do is we gotta keep going now. We're going the right direction, that's for sure. You know, doing this personal journey, I think the biggest question I have for myself is, do you still got it? I think if there's any true definitive answers I want to get, I gotta take this thing and go on the track. Looking at this, there's no way in hell I could put this on the track right now. It's all rusted, the frame is rusty, it's got no brakes, fuel lines are all cracked, it just needs a whole kind of overhaul and cleanup. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna take the time to restore this thing. I got some work to do. Then one day Alrighty, we got her all stripped, ready to go. Almost ready for paint, just gotta clean it up, order the paint, and start applying it. So at this point, I got two choices. Number one, I could paint it the way it used to look like, make it look brand new, have it all fresh and ready to go. Or choice number two, I could do something unique, something special, and make it mean something. I think we're gonna go with choice number two. So the next order of business was to get back in the car and go meet up with two individuals we hadn't seen for over 25 years. Now, my dad always had a very small circle of friends. He was very careful who he let inside. But there were two guys that were very special to us, and those individuals were Frank and Joe. Frank and Joe were fellow competitors, but more importantly, they were friends. Frank was known for his out-of-the-box thinking. He had the unique ability of making something out of nothing. He had some of the best looking go-karts you'd ever see. His problem-solving techniques and his skills, along with his artistic talent, really made him stand out. Hell, he was the one that made the videos back in the day to promote the club, which me as a videographer now, I really appreciate. He was also instrumental in bringing the shifter kart class to the club itself, and hell, he was actually the guy that painted my helmet. So I know Frank is somebody that's been very special to my dad, and I found it important to have these guys reunited after all these years. And then next up, you got Front Row Joe. Joe was known for his competitive nature. He was an absolute pit bull on the track, one of the most aggressive and competitive guys you'd ever see, but at the same time, he was the guy with the biggest heart. Anytime you needed help with anything, he was the first one to help. he actually ended up coming right at the beginning, helping out with many of the tasks to make it happen, like pouring rumble strips around the track. At the same time, he had a lot of contributions to the club itself. He was always finding ways to involve himself. So Frank and Joe were very important people to my dad, and I found it important to reunite them after all these years. I think it's time to rekindle that flame.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Oh.
How's that sound? Oh, it's good to see you, buddy.
Oh man.
You fucking look great. You look exactly the same. That's fucking awesome. I love your shirt, by the way. Wow, this is crazy.
Dude,
good to see you, brother.
Dude, it's good to see you. Finally, I've been talking to you for a long time.
Oh man, we just never did this part.
No, I know.
This is so awesome.
Texting is so shitty compared to talking to one person.
Yeah, this is so cool. I can't even believe I'm standing here right now.
Yeah, for 20 some years, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right, Joe, I haven't seen you in 25 years.
So good to see you.
So cool to see you. We're here in Frank's garage.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and what was like karting like back then?
Karting was so grassroots back then, and I think that's the thing that really drew me to it. You didn't have to roll in with a trailer and $20,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
Any guy that was handy in a garage with some tools could bring out a cart. We didn't have racing suits. There was guys running around in jean jackets. It was very grassroots and very easy entry.
Yeah.
The people in the pits were more friendly than they were competitive.
Yeah.
And these are all things that drew me to it. The people in the pits were really your friends.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It was a very family kind of oriented thing.
And we came in 94, you came in 95, so a year later.
Yep.
But you came in during the time when my dad was building the track.
Yeah, it was really cool. We came around meeting you guys in '95. Your dad was a very big member of the club. We had a great time with him. You were just a pup. Your family had mentioned that you had this track out in Cheney somewhere, and you needed a hand, and we were always wanting to help people and be involved in a racetrack, so we jumped at the chance. And we came out and helped you build the rumble strips. The main track had already been laid down. It's an awesome story. I was talking to your dad at one point, and I'm like, we're standing in the woods. It was such a beautiful setting in the trees, and I'm like, Mark, how did you come up with the idea of like where to turn the corners and stuff? And your dad looked at me and said, I just drove the bulldozer around, man. It was pretty simple.
That's so true. It
was awesome.
Just a bunch of guys and girls, no experience, just regular everyday people building something.
Yeah,
made a big community.
The community, good. The community aspect was really the thing that drove us to be there, to be involved in something, and to get your hands in the dirt and be grassroots, ground level. Was really a fantastic experience. It really made a big difference in our lives at that point.
So what kind of difference did it make in your life? Because we're talking all these years, it's been 25 years, and you actually stopped even earlier than that. It was 97.
It was really incredible for us to be there at the time that we were there. We were very fortunate, I think. We came in around the end of '94, beginning of '95, and there might have been 23 to 25 people showing up to an event. And by '97, when we left, it was getting close to 100. They had to break a lot of categories into subcategories, so there wasn't just the final, there was the A final and the B final. And it was great to bring more people in for the exposure and more people to race against. But the more people you bring in changes the dynamic of it as well. And as we were leaving, it was really shifting into a more professional environment and less of a grassroots family kind of thing. And that's fine, the progress is real. It's a real golden moment in my life. Because we were so hands-on, we ended up being part of the club, and we wrote the newsletter. So we were very involved in the club, and them allowing us to come in from out of nowhere and be that level of involvement was fantastic. Looking back at it, it's a real golden period. We look back at it all the time and think back to how much fun we had and how special it was, being so involved and so hands-on. There was a real family and community fun aspect, like you mentioned to it earlier, that I think was really important to us as individuals. I'd played organized sports my whole life, but this was different. There was less me against you, and a lot more of how can we do something together to make it better.
But that's not to say you guys didn't fight.
Oh,
when
my
you
Lord.
spoke, you said you guys fought.
Fierce.
Fierce, that's the word. You had big battles, you guys fought, because he raced my dad.
Yeah.
And yet you guys 100%. Are still the best of friends at that time, which is really cool.
It's so crazy to think that you'd flip your buddy over on his head for a plastic trophy that was probably worth $15 at the time. Yeah, that's the competitive fire that comes with racing and comes with all kinds of competitive sports, but in racing, we're open wheel karts with slick tires. At any moment, you can be upside down. And that's what really fuels the excitement behind it. The risk is so high. The intensity is so high. But again, these are our friends, these are our family members, these are people we're building racetracks with the next day. So there's also an element of you got to be a professional out there, and you got to take care of the people around you as well as you're going for every inch that you can get.
Yeah, so obviously you made a lot of friends. I guess the last thing I would ask you is that you had your daughter involved as well.
Yeah. I was very lucky to have raced with my wife. My girlfriend at the time, who became my wife, we literally quit karting so we could get married. But I was very, very fortunate to have a partner who was absolutely 100% as enthused about racing as I was. And then years later, as Emma grew up, the kart club was still there, and we still had lots of friends, so we could go back. There's great pictures of Emma in karting. I ended up owning a couple of vintage karts that Frank had kept on from years, and so we got to go out to your dad's track in Cheney, and we had great experiences out there. And there's nothing like bonding with your kids, doing something that's special to you and building those memories that are special for them as well. So just an incredible experience. Again, the family aspect was a huge thing for us. To have my daughter come out on the track and put a helmet on and to watch her go around is special stuff.
Yeah, Joe. Holy shit. I was looking at the helmets going, yeah, it's got to be one of you jokers. Not on a hill!
These are some classics.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Hey, Max, shit, I know.
I remember Max. Mark is...
Holy crap, I haven't seen you.
Well, you were about gay tall last time I saw you.
Wow.
Nice to see you.
Did you plan this? I didn't.
No, Frank and I are trying to get together for all summer long.
Look what I brought. You remember that?
Yeah. I didn't do this Krakow, did I?
You did. You did everything.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was you, man.
I was just learning how to airbrush.
That hasn't seen the light of day since, about a year ago. I pulled it out.
The old dragon. Oh, love it.
That dragon is so awesome.
So there we were, just a bunch of guys that hadn't seen each other for over 20 years, sharing the passion of karting by telling stories, shooting the shit, and just catching up on good times. It was at this time I truly felt like I'd been transported back in time, back to being a kid again, amongst all these racing legends I looked up to so many years ago. Just listening to the stories and taking them all in, right there in Frank's garage.
There was a dad who showed up maybe a week or two after you guys came in with a proper Tony baby kart meant for kids your size. You won the race by a mile, talent and kart combined. But then some dad went home and literally channeled out 8 inches of a kart, welded it back together, and then there was all this, like, I remember this fighting and these dads all freaking out, oh, they're cheating, they have a special card, blah, 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 blah. And then we knew, we're like, no, it wouldn't matter what fucking cart that kid was in. Have you ever seen that kid? He doesn't make any mistakes, he's a fucking robot. Watch him for 5 minutes and tell me that kid isn't the most talented kid here. It was clear and obvious. The dads just couldn't handle it, the soccer dads, the hockey dads. They couldn't handle their kids were getting muffed on the track. But if we had been at Quio, we had seen you run laps. I mean, again, it's Schumacher-esque, right? Same hand position, same corner, lap after lap after lap, no mistakes, no tail hanging out, just fucking pure precision all the time. That's what we can see. Like Verstappen now.
person here left many years ago, and now I sit here at the bar, feeling so alone. I've read all of the books I had and walked the planet round, but still the thing I'm looking for refuses to be found, except this clanging deep regret. Oh, I am such a fool, a man who wanted quiet, so he went up to the moon. But now this precious solitude I once thought so sublime has changed my sense of what is real and what is in my mind. I think I hear the voices of my distant family, the laughter of my oldest friends, the years I haven't seen. Hello, how are you? I heard you're on the moon. Tell us why you went up there, it's very strange of you. Now we all know that you're the kind of person who must find the things that keep you up at night and occupy your mind.
Whoa! I love that my name's on the back end.
That's right.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. Good job.
You like it?
High five.
Thank you. So I wanted to make it look like the first cart. Obviously we don't have that one anymore, but I figured I'll make it look like one. But it's the shifter. We never raced this one other than one time. And I end up putting Lex's name and Dax's on the sides instead of my own because it just...
That is so cute.
I just thought it'd be more appropriate. So that's pretty much it. So
good job.
Thank you. So what do you think of this whole journey?
Another job well done.
That's right. Another one finished. Yeah. I wonder what my dad's gonna think of this thing. Come take a look. Yeah, take a look. Whoa.
And kick it out my bike. Kick it out my See my
More
kick
champion.
out my bike. Kick out my bike. My bike.
Well, nice.
So cool. It has 3 wheels and then my car.
So you like it,
This
Al?
is my car. And look,
Where did you
it's
get
my
that
car.
from?
I made
It's
it.
my car.
Yeah, you made it?
Ready?
did it! So proud of you.
Anything out of my ear, but...
Ow!
Sorry, I'm
There it is. It works.
So it's been one heck of a summer, to say the very least. Winter's on our tail, the cold weather's coming, it's here any day now, and what an incredible year it's been. I've really got to experience quite a lot of incredible things. It's definitely a year I'll never forget. But here we are, just ready for that final day to get everybody together and go for a little drive. And it's been a while since we got that fixed. You know, ever since finishing this thing, I've had problem after problem after problem. Ran into some issues with the brakes, tried to order some parts, kept changing things, and then we thought we had it all sorted, and there was some sort of communication error from where we were getting it. And next thing you know, it's the end of the season, it's our last window, and she's not ready to go. It just really sucks because it was a lot of work to get this thing ready, and things didn't fall into our favor. So in 2 days, we got one final day. This is our last shot, and it's not looking like this thing's gonna be on that go-kart track, unfortunately. But regardless what happens, I think it's important to get everybody together and go out on the track, because there's a lot more to this than just the go-kart. So when I met with Joe and Frank wasn't comfortable being on camera. He's like my dad. You can't just plop him down in front of the camera, expect him to talk. That's not how it works. These are guys that have zero ego. They're all work, zero ego. They're not people that could talk about themselves or are comfortable doing that. But the fact is, these people are the pioneers of this sport for us, at least in this area. So it was really important to get their stories in for me. However, when I saw Frank, it had been a long time. We hadn't seen him for many years. And back in the day, he actually used to come with his daughter to the track when it closed down, and they would come practice, and she learned how to drive, and she got very good. We go see Frank, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is one of the nicest things I've ever heard. I was just fortunate, I had my microphone on, and we ended up getting that precious moment.
I was just talking about what a lucky guy I am. My daughter is here. You were granted a depth, a whole bunch, having that track. It really, and letting us on it. It really helped Nod develop as a person. Being out there and knowing she could do what the guys can do, and she was good at it right out of the box.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, it's moments like these that really make me understand that this journey was well worth doing. This story was never meant to just be about me. It's about a community. It's a group of people. So at this point, I can't put myself first, gotta put the community first. We'll have that day, relive those memories, and we'll just have to see what happens to this guy.
What the hell's going on? Hey, Drew. What's going on? You walk the whole track? Looks pretty good. Hey.
There's the man.
It's good to be back. Good seeing you.
I know. It's crazy to be here, right?
Hey, I'm Joe. I'm Jill. Jill? Nice to meet you. That was the year before I came racing.
How are you?
I raced with my girlfriend in 94
I think I do remember you.
I might remember the name.
Yeah, I would have been just starting in
You guys were just
97.
kids. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember you. You don't look anything the same. Like, I wouldn't recognize Max in a crowd. He was 7 years old last time I saw him.
Yeah.
8 years old.
You're pretty much the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm an 87, I think.
We finished in 97. We knew we were going to finish because we had wanted to get married the next year.
Yeah.
And we knew there wouldn't be enough time to do both.
Right.
So we're just like, fuck it, sell the cart while it's hot. I won a championship that year. Tracy won it at your dad's place. And so we're like, this is the most it's ever going to be worth. Just fucking get it out of here now.
Yeah.
So we left right at the end of the night. I sold my cart on the day I won the championship.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
the guy was standing there in the parking lot ready to take it. And it came off and won a championship. It was never, Frank was in my ear. He's like, that was as much as it was ever going to be worth. Coming right off the track with the championship trophy sitting on the hood. That's the most you'll ever get for your cart. Sell it RFN right fucking now.
Yeah.
And so we did.
have any brakes, but we'll try. We'll see what happens. It's got rears, I hope.
Yeah, you're the guinea pig.
It was at this moment, walking away from the carnage, it hit me that all those questions I had asked at the beginning of this journey had all been answered. Why the universe was sending me signals, and for me to reconnect with the people that we did. You know, on our show we have a saying, we can't go back in time, but we can relive it. And ain't that the truth? Because it may as well have been 1997. The smiles on people's faces, the good times, the camaraderie, and hell, even the limited safety just brought me right back. It was this journey by something as simple as karting that would bring us together.
Oh, it's good to see you, buddy.
Oh, man. Rekindle old friendships and create lasting memories. But more importantly for me personally, was able to do something with my dad that was so important to us and brought us so close together back in the day. Being able to spend time with the man I looked up to the most as a kid, and creating new memories was a really special moment. But on this journey, I learned a lot more than I set out to do. You always hear the saying, it'll never be like old times. Well, I don't think that's true. It's just different, because if you look closely and you pay attention to the world around you, you'll notice that amazing things are happening every day. So what about that 6-year-old boy? The boy with dreams of becoming the next world champion. If there's anything this journey has accomplished, it's proved that that young boy, he's still around. Maybe the dreams of becoming world champion are gone. However, what's really exciting is that passion. I could see that passion and that drive in my boys. When I look at my sons, I could see that boy in them as much as I could see it in me. But out of everything we've learned on this journey, the most valuable thing we learned is to take risks. At some point in your life, you have to invest in yourself or invest in your family and do what you have to do. It could be something as bold as immigrating from another country, building your own racetrack, rekindle old friendships, or heck, just organizing a race. All I know is without risk, there is no reward. My advice to anybody watching is, if you have a burning desire, or you have your own inexplicable reason for doing something, you just gotta go and do it. There's always a million reasons why not to do something, but if you wait too long, time will pass you by, and you'll end up losing it. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know why I'm here. Last time I had this feeling, I ended up doing a documentary on a go-karting journey, so you just never know. I just learned that you just can't deny these things, you just gotta go for it. To think this was the first place I ever used a go-kart, that's pretty cool. This is kind of unfortunate to see, you know what I mean? It's actually kind of sad seeing this track gone like this. Like when I look at the photos, it's completely different, you know, like grass was cut and everything, there was no trees or anything. The same exact area. It's really hard to believe that this is the same spot. I could see the house in the background. This is actually where there's a picture of my brother standing there beside the little shack. It doesn't look the same anymore, but it's hard to believe that this is the exact same spot. You know, it is so unfortunate this is sitting here in the woods, not being used. You would never know there was a racetrack here. With a little maintenance, this could be something. There's moss, but there's the pavement. Some little trees growing, but nothing too crazy. This could be something. This is a shame. This is a shame, man. Look at this. It's a nice little track. It's magical here. Look at this part. What do you think, Molly? Are we gonna do something crazy again? Maybe. But not this year.